From the digital soundstage in Wellington High School, welcome to another episode of Dialogue with you Dukes. I'm your host, Bill Berger, and today's show is being brought to you by the Wellington Music Store located at 117-119 West Herrick in downtown Wellington. We're doing something a little different today. Usually when we have sports activities and interviews, we usually have them at the beginning of the season, but for technical reasons and others, this year we're doing it kind of midway, almost 3/4 of the way through the basketball season. We're going to have both the boys and the girls today because we're running out of time with the schedule. So far, if memory serves, the boys are so far, they're 6-8 overall, and they're 3-6 in Lorain County. And the girls are 8-7 overall and 5-4 in the LCA. To my immediate right, we have a star freshman varsity player in Luke Vannucci. Welcome, Luke. And senior Jay Roberts. So we have both starters. However, we have the upper end, the upperclassmen, and the, shall we say, underclassmen in Luke Vannucci. So welcome to both of you, and congratulations to both of you on being starters on the Wellington High School team. Because you're a senior, we're going to start with you first, Jay. Why, we know that you came in, why did you decide to play for Wellington?
Just needed to switch it up and get like a different feel for like the game.
Differences in like in I think it's called the Lake Effect Conference. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Differences in the conference itself,
Yeah.
or just a new leaning or a new environment.
Yeah, new environment.
New environment. Yeah. Well, Luke, I guess I would have to say you're a surprise freshman starter. I've been doing GLW for about 9 years now, I believe, and I don't truly remember if there's ever been a freshman starter. So first of all, congratulations for that. What do you owe your success for becoming at least in recent memory, the first varsity freshman starter here on the Wellington High School team?
Well, I would owe my success out to my coaches because, I mean, they helped me, they pushed me out practice and games, and they made me better.
Who were those coaches that helped you a lot? If you can name them.
Right now, Coach Gunberg, Coach Baker, and then my stepdad also coached me a lot.
Okay.
He helped me through all my years of basketball.
How about in 7th and 8th grade?
Oh, Coach Kohler and Coach Saunders.
Uh-huh.
Coach Kohler was definitely my favorite player.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Well, Jay, I'm going to ask both the boys and the girls this question. What were the realistic goals going into the season for the Wellington basketball team?
I think it was like to get wins mostly, and to have a more understanding of the game, and just to play hard and win.
I've been able to, now this year I haven't been able to, again, because of COVID, but I've always been able to attend usually, one practice a week if I can. And I have noticed that Coach Gunberg is very interested in wind and just the different exercise. What are some of the exercises that you do to gain that wind aspect, the cardiovascular aspect?
We normally work on more like shooting and getting a lot of shots up during practice.
Mm-hmm. Luke, we know that the LCA has got some good teams, some really good teams, and we've got some teams that aren't necessarily all that good. What are the challenges that the conference presents actually to our Wellington team?
The challenges for me is that, well, since I'm so small, it's just a lot harder for me to like score. The only place I scored is like the 3, but other than that, there's really no challenges.
Well, you're an excellent ball handler too. Do you actually have the job of point guard, or is that kind of spread around the team?
It's kind of like split between me and Riley.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes he takes it, sometimes I do.
Okay, we'll give a shout out to Riley Reyna for that. Now I'm going to bring up the open door game, and that was a game which we were down significantly at halftime, and it kind of didn't look like we weren't really looking all that good initially. And then Luke came out along with Sean Whitehouse, and you started raining threes. And it brought the team back significantly, and then from that point on, we went on to win the game. I believe you had 5 trays, is that correct? and you scored a season high of 19 points. So congratulations to you, Luke. So you say, granted, you're in amongst a bunch of tall people like Jay, but you handle the ball well, and you shoot at least that that particular game, you really shot the ball well. Well, Jay, we have kind of an unbalanced team. We have 6 seniors on the team, and then the rest of them, 7 underclassmen spread between freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. So explain how the experience of the 6 seniors can actually help the team.
More experience could help if you have less experience. Really, it's the best, but when you keep working at it, you'll get more experience as it's going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, the seniors themselves, especially, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head, Drew Unanks, he almost acts like a football player out there. And it's not the first time that we've had football players come out and play basketball. I can remember way back a long time ago, we used to call one of the players who played line for in football, we would call him the battleship because he'd get in the middle of the paint and just dominate everything. So that's certainly true. Well, for you, Luke, needless to say, it's been probably a game-changing year for you, being a freshman. So I guess I have to ask this question. What's been the most exciting or maybe the most rewarding moment for you this year playing basketball for Wellington?
The most exciting moment of this year was the open door game.
The open door game?
This is like my favorite part of I've ever played before.
Well, you certainly did a great job. Well, Jay, besides coach, and I kind of asked the same question to Luke, besides coach, who do you actually go to for help in anything from shooting, ball handling, working in the paint? Who do you actually go to besides coach?
Probably one of my AAU coaches I used to play for.
Okay. You give a shout out to him too?
Yeah, his name is Casey.
Okay. Okay.
Went to Firelands, and he was my AAU coach. And I also go to my dad sometimes.
Mm-hmm. What have they actually provided for you? Just, shall we say, technical experience, or just, for lack of a better term, rah-rah behind the scenes?
More technical.
Technical?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well, finally, Luke, what did you do to prepare yourself for the season? Because obviously coming in, you had no idea that you were going to be a starter on a varsity team. So how did you actually prepare for the season itself?
Well, I had to work out a lot, get stronger, and I was practicing as hard as I could every day, just so that I can be better and do. Sorry.
Did you participate in the preseason workouts?
Yes, I did.
You did. And how again, was it more like what Jay was talking about with the seasoning aspect of it, or the cardiovascular aspect, or the shooting, or maybe all three? All three, yeah. Well, once again, we'd like to thank Jay Roberts, senior starter on the Wellington team, and also Luke Vannucci, and I'm going to say surprise freshman starter on the Wellington basketball team, because both of you have had a lot to do with success of the team so far this year. So we'd like to thank both of you for coming in and talking to me and the entire Wellington family about Wellington basketball, boys basketball this year. We'll be back after this message. This is Dialogue with the Dukes.
The Wellington Music Store has a wide variety of musical instruments to suit anybody's needs. They have guitars like bass, electric, and acoustic. They have unique instruments like banjos, harmonicas, and stuff to even run drum sets. They have violins, they have the tools to set up anything, and they also have band gear. They have strings for the guitars and other instruments in there. The tools they keep going, and so do the instruments. It's a very amazing place.
We are back. We hope that for all of your music needs, you will consider going to the Wellington Music Store located at 117, 119 in Wellington, downtown Wellington, Ohio. During the first portion of this dialogue, we were talking with the boys, and we were talking about how their season has gone, the fact that we have Jay Roberts, who's a senior on the team, and looking to be playing in his last games. And we talked with Luke Vannucci, who, as I kept saying, he was, for me, was a bit of a surprise being the only freshman starter that I can remember on the boys team for many, many years. So now we're going to talk to the girls. And to my immediate right, we have Savannah Gunberg. She's a sophomore on the basketball team and also plays soccer for Wellington High School. And to my immediate left, we have Brooke Lemcool. Brooke plays basketball and volleyball. And I'm sure all of you remember her sister, Alexis. And so, and I have to say, Brooke, that often you remind me so much of Alexis when you, for some reason, when you run down the court after you've made a basket or something like that. You and the two of you look, I could close my eyes and I could see both of you walking down the court or jogging down the court, shall we say. So you remind me an awful lot of Alexis. So first question to Savannah. It's the same question that I asked the boys. What do you feel like the realistic goals were for the girls basketball team this year?
I think that they were, to grow as a team, get better together, and to get our numbers on the wall, finally change it around and win the conference.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by getting the numbers on the wall? What does that mean?
In the gym, you have all the signs, and then you have all the years that you won conference.
Oh, okay.
So we want to get this year on the wall for basketball.
That would be great. And can I brag on you a little bit? Yeah. The girls soccer team, I think for the third time in 4 years, you've been the conference champions. So congratulations for that. Now I see what you're talking about. Well, Brooke, we have 4 seniors on the team, and they're very important. If you could name the 4 seniors and tell how they have impacted the team with their experience.
There's Carly, Amanda, Tori, and Teddy, and they really keep us positive in the locker room, on the court, off the court. Wherever we are, try to keep our heads up and always get us going and have really strong communication.
Mm-hmm. Is there one of the seniors that maybe stands out, or is it all 4 seniors that are always, keeping the team up, working with the team and so on? All 4. Yeah. Well, Savannah, as I said, we have a bit of an up and down season. We currently are 1 win above the 500 mark. We beat Columbia, and congratulations to that. What has the team learned this year? Because maybe we aren't nearly as good as we were, say, the previous year or something like that. So what have we learned this year?
I think we've learned that basketball is not just a sport. Like, you need to be a family in order to win games. Like, you can't argue and stuff like that. Like, you have to work together, build together, and you have to become closer. Even if it's not your friend group, you still have to work with them on the court and leave all the drama out, or it's just not going to go well.
No, that's a really good point. And working as a family and keeping drama out, that's also a very big deal. That's a really good answer. Well, Brooke, how do you build the team after each win, or how is the team built after, say, a loss? Is there something that maybe the coach says, or something that your teammates do? As I say, both after a win or after a loss.
Next time we're in the gym, we really try to work after it and push ourselves to get better. And after our losses, it may be hard, but we still all try to work together, keep each other up, and don't get down on each other, and put it in the past and move on and get to the next game.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the important things, and building on what Brooke says, one of the most important things is probably communication. Talk about how the communication is facilitated. She brought up a very good point, the fact that don't get down on people, don't get down on the loss, things like that. But how is the communication facilitated, and why is it so important? Especially not only in soccer, because there's a lot more players on the field, whereas maybe only 5 players on the court at a time during basketball.
I think communication is important because we have to run the plays and everything like that, so you have to communicate with that. And it's not just about that. Like, you have to communicate with your teammates. You have to keep their head up even if they make a mistake. Like, you have to help them because once one person gets down, it's just kind of like a chain reaction, and it just doesn't build up back from there. So you have to make sure you keep your teammates' head up and everything like that.
Yeah, and that's very important too, because trying to communicate with someone who's maybe somewhere else, maybe either due to the score of the game or whatever else. That's very important, the communication aspect of it. So what can you do to help the team, Brooke? Is not only just in communication, but how do you help team chemistry? Is there something that is done, shall we say, maybe something good that's happened? How do you, as the tallest person on the team, how do you help the team chemistry and continuing on down, especially in a winning situation, but maybe in a losing situation too?
I am always helping my can you say it again?
I'm sorry?
You repeat the question.
Oh, sure. The team chemistry aspect of it. You're the tallest person on the team. So even being the only freshman on the team, there's still got to be, as we talked about with Savannah, there's got to be communication. But there's also a chemistry involved. Having the 5 players on the court working together. And we know that different players are in and out all the time. So, and you're in and out all the time. So how is chemistry so important with the team aspect of it? Doesn't matter whether we're winning or losing.
Always staying positive and cheering people on after we score, or if there's a mistake, just to pick them up from it. Make sure they don't get down on themselves, because once someone's down on themselves, it spreads throughout the team, and it really will hurt if that happens. So just to always stay positive and not to yell at your teammates and say bad things down on them.
Mm-hmm. Well, as a sophomore, Savannah, how has Coach helped you going from a freshman and not a starter to a sophomore and a sometimes starter? You started the other night against Columbia. How has Coach actually helped you between your freshman year and your sophomore year?
He has definitely helped me because honestly before sophomore year I was all left-handed. I barely used my right, but Coach has made me gain confidence in my right hand, and he has helped me with that a lot. Mm-hmm. And he always pushes me to do better, and he, whenever I get down on myself, he always tells me it's fine, just keep working on it. It's just, he's always there, and he always picks you up and helps you out on things you need help with, and he's always there. If you want to talk to him after practice or work on something, he's always there to help you out.
Mm-hmm. Well, you brought up a really good point, speed. And I'm not sure, I might have to have a race between all the people on the team, but I'm pretty sure if you're not the fastest person on the team, you're pretty close. How does speed intersect with winning on the court?
It just helps a lot, because if you get a good steal with a fast break, it's easy to just be down there and get a layup, and it helps you get those points up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, the final question to you. We had a great win against Columbia the other day. Last Saturday, I believe it was. I believe the score in the first game against Columbia, when we were at Columbia, I believe the final score was 50-33. How did we go from losing a game against Columbia in their own gym to winning our game against them in our gym, and especially, shall we say, countering the special shooters or their best player, Elise Champagne? How did you actually counteract her abilities on the court to, number one, not be able to get the baskets that I think she was used to, and number two, oh darn, she fouled out.
Our goal was to shut her down right away, right out of the gate and everything, and for our players who weren't guarding her to be in the key so she couldn't drive and come in and get fouled. From between when we played them at their place and now, we definitely have improved in playing, and we definitely improved in
well, certainly in defense, that was certainly a big thing. How did the defense change, not only against Elise, but how did the defense change against their entire team to allow us to have a win? And by the way, the win was 33-30. How did the defense itself, and especially for you sitting in the post position, how did that defense change between the two games?
I'd say in our first game we were playing a lot tighter defense to who we were guarding, and so there'd be a gap in the key and they were able easily to drive. Or if they would move real fast, we weren't there to jump off our girl and help out with it. But this go around, we were ready for all of that and more prepared.
Was there double teaming involved or triple teaming involved, or was there a zone defense involved, or a man-to-man or woman-to-woman defense involved? How did that actually go to be successful last Saturday?
We played man-to-man, I'm pretty sure, the whole game, and we did press. And that changed because I'm not sure, did we play zone the first time? We might have done zone 2, 3. Yeah. So this time we didn't do any zones, and we figured that would do better for us on our defensive end.
Now, how's that going to translate into, and I'll ask both of you, how is that going to translate into wins for the remainder of the season? Savannah?
I think that in man-to-man, we are a lot better because we can keep track of our girl easily, and we always have like their best player. We always have a girl up on them tight the whole time, and the rest of us just kind of help out, and so they can't get into the paint or they can't shoot their three-pointers. And I think that man is just the better option for us. We are a lot stronger team in man, and it's harder for them to get to the basket when we're in a man defense.
And she brought up the pressing. Often I've seen that when you put in a full court press, that really hurts the other team. Is that something that that coach often puts in, or is it just every so often? How is it determined when you're going to do a full court press?
It depends where we're at in the game, if it's tight or not. And we kind of just like to throw it in, just to throw them all off, and then kind of get them to freak out. And when they come down, they're rushing and everything, and just throw a shot up instead of getting their play set up, and they can take their time and get to the hoop.
Exactly. Well, we'd like to thank both Savannah Gunberg and Brooke Lemcool for coming in and talking about the girls basketball team. Maybe the team hasn't been as good to this point as we would like it to be, but there's about, say 35 to 40% of the season remaining, and then of course the tournament. And of course those are big games to play, so we certainly hope that it will translate into more wins for the girls team this year, and both of you will be back next year, so we can always look forward to next year too. So once again, we'd like to thank both Savannah and Brooke for coming in and talking to us. This has been Dialogue with the Dukes.